Watergate was a presidential scandal in the early 1970s. It impacted American citizens' aptitude to trust the president. The scandal has led to Americans questioning what they see in the media and what they hear from political figures. The Watergate scandal started with the burglary attempt at the Watergate building in Washington, D.C. The burglars were attached to President Nixon's re-election campaign. They were caught stealing documents and wiretapping phones. There is a controversy over whether Nixon was accountable for their actions. FBI investigators did find White House phone numbers when they uncovered the thieves, therefore making it seem that they were connected to the president. Nixon swore to the public that the burglars were not connected to his White House staff. He then went on to win the re-election by historical landslide. It later became evident that Nixon was not being truthful in his claims against being involved in the Watergate scandal. Nixon did attempt to raise money to cover up the scandal. He also tried to instruct the CIA to prevent the FBI from digging deeper into the matter. It was starting to be uncovered that this was much more than just a break-in. Some of Nixon's conspirators began to crack under all the pressure. Some of his aides, including his White House counsels, such as John Dean, testified in front of a grand jury about Nixon's crimes. They had also told the jury that Nixon had taped every conversation that was held in the Oval Office. No one could get their hands on the tapes, so no one could prove that President Nixon was guilty. Nixon tried his best to keep those tapes from the public. His lawyer argued that they were his tapes and that he had the right to keep them to himself. Sirica, the Senate committee, and a special prosecutor named Archibald Cox were all very committed to getting those tapes. When Cox would not stop insisting on getting the tapes, Nixon fired him, which led to a lot of Justice Department officials resigning in protest. They called this the Saturday Night's Massacre. It occurred on October 20th, 1973. After these events, Nixon finally gave them a few tapes, but not all of them. In early 1974, Nixon's cover-up started to fall apart. On March 1st, a grand jury prosecutor found 7 of Nixon's former aides involved with the affairs that happened at Watergate, thus proving their theory of Nixon to be true. In July, the Supreme Court ordered Nixon to release all of the tapes into their custody. The House of Representatives voted to impeach Nixon for obstruction of justice, abuse of powers, criminal cover-up, amongst several other things. On August 5th, Nixon finally released all of the tapes, which provided their evidence of him being involved with the entire scandal. The president resigned on August 8th. When Gerald Ford was sworn in to take over as president, he pardoned Nixon for any crimes that he had committed while in the office. The aides of Nixon were not as fortunate as he and were convicted of very serious crimes and went to federal prison. Nixon never admitted to any criminal wrongdoing, but he said that he used very poor judgment. This scandal had a very negative effect on the Americans of our country, which has made us question every politician that will ever be in office.